千里之行，始于足下. A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Daodejing by Lao Tzu. Okay, so let's put it all together, all four characters. The great square has no corners. What is that? Well, let's talk about having no corners. In this context, no corners, no pointy corners means a smooth, well-rounded surface without sharp edges, so it is pleasant to the touch. So this in turn, here's what it means. This means that there is a difference externally and internally for the high-level individuals. As I expressed, high-level individuals demand a lot from themselves. That's the great square internally. While that is true, they place no demands at all, no expectations on other people, and that is no corners externally. So there is a difference between the way they treat themselves and the way they treat other people. This is a mainstay, this is the fixture in the study of the Tao, the study of the authentic Tao. And in fact, sages would often use Chinese coins as a visual reminder of this principle. Many of you have heard me talk about this before, but every time we do this talk, there are new people coming in to this genuine tradition of the Tao. So I think it's beneficial for me to spend a slide on it. There's an expression that even people who have been following my talks for years have not necessarily been exposed to. Let me share with you what that is. 内方外圆. And here is an image of the Chinese coins that is usually utilized as a symbol for that. So before we get too far, you're going to notice Chinese characters on the surface of these Chinese coins. The proper way, by the way, to read these characters on the Chinese coin, this is because it's on the coin, it's unlike the way that characters are read in a written media. It's 招财进宝. It's top down, right, left. So again, unless you have someone who grew up in the culture, you would not know that. 招财进宝. What does that mean? It means to welcome fortune, to bring in treasures. So very appropriate to have that inscribed on a coin, because coin, after all, is the very symbol of commerce. It represents prosperity and abundance in the material side of life. Now, let's go back to this expression, 内方外圆. What does that mean? We can break it down into halves, 2 characters and then 2 characters. Starting with 内方, so this is read from left to right. So here we go. Let's analyze the first 2. What do they mean? Literally, here's what they say. 内 means internal. 方, same thing, means square. Internally, square. Well, looking at the coin, it's pretty obvious, the internal square that this is referring to. Here's the meaning. Brutal honesty with yourself. No self-delusion. If you can't be honest with yourself, you also cannot be honest with anyone else. This is an absolute requirement for yourself to live up to your own ideals, which means no excuses. Decide on what your ideals are and stick to them no matter what. And you can see how this is related to having great integrity, having this unshakable stoic code of honor. So that's 内方, to be very exacting internally. So by the way, why do the ancient Chinese coins have this square hole in them? Actually, it's very simple and it's very practical. In ancient times, people would pull a string through a whole bunch of coins and tie that string to keep a bunch of coins together. Very practical. Very good idea. It kind of makes you wonder, hey, how come we don't do that? We could do that, but we don't. So no nation today has coinage that looks like the ancient Chinese coins, although I think the ancient Chinese, they were onto something. Very practical considerations. So let's talk about the other half. 外援, the two other characters. So here's the pinyin romanization for the two characters. What do they mean? Well, the literal meaning, I think you can actually guess. I think by following this talk up until this point, you can probably figure out that 外援 would be the opposite or the complement of 内方. If so, you are correct. Literally, 外 means external. 圆 means circle or circular. So here's the meaning. Tactful, diplomatic, and considerate with other people, being very polite and thoughtful, being very gentle, having the soft touch. And this is coming from a place of compassion. Let me explain. There's a figure that I want to bring to your attention, a modern figure, someone who's still alive and well today, actually someone who enjoys some fame because of what he had done. I am talking about a gentleman by the name of Chris Hadfield. You may know who that is. If not, it will be easy for you to find out who that is by a quick search on the internet. Chris Hadfield. He is an astronaut, engineer. He came from a background as a former Royal Canadian Air Force fighter pilot. From there, he became an astronaut. And he was the first Canadian astronaut to walk in space. He has flown 2 space shuttle missions. He has served as commander of the International Space Station. So this is an incredible individual. So he was asked in an interview, one day he was asked, the interview, and I'll paraphrase a little bit, you'll get the idea. The interview asked, Commander Hadfield, if you could pick up a phone and call yourself from decades ago, you can make a telephone connection to the much younger you from decades ago. You have a limited amount of time. What would you say to your younger self? Now, Commander Hadfield is 60 years old. He's lived a very full life. He's had a lot of life experiences. So he thought about this, and he said he would tell his younger self, the most important thing he had to tell his younger self was that when you encounter people, when you get to know people, when you meet them, you want to keep in mind that people all have their own unique struggles. Everyone has some kind of challenge. He said, my younger self did not know that. I did not know that when I was a younger man. I did not realize, just judging by external surface appearance, a lot of people seem like they're doing really well, that they got the whole situation under control. Life is under control. As he grew older, as he gained life experience, he came to realize that surface appearance is just that, surface appearance. There's always more to the story than meets the eyes when you probe beneath the surface. When he gets to know people, he realizes that the people that he thought had it all together actually had challenges and struggles he never expected. He wanted to tell this to his younger self because as a demanding, exacting young man, his younger self was demanding and exacting of other people, not realizing from a place of compassion that everyone has some kind of unique struggle. So he wanted to tell his younger self, listen, this is the truth. This is why you have to cut everybody some slack. You have to realize they're not as everything appears on the surface. What Commander Hatfield is saying is a great truth that the ancient Tao sages have also said, that when you encounter other people, you gotta keep in mind, everything may look fine, but you don't know. People may be struggling quite a bit. That's why you have to 内方外圆, be exacting within yourself, but be gentle with other people. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us travel safely. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.